Yo, GM. Turn this down a little bit. Yo, what's good, everybody? Just wanted to jump on real quick to get out a quick update after the crazy price action and craziness that has occurred over the last 24 hours or so since the Trump what's it called again? The Trump Liberation Day event with the tariffs. We had initial price action that was looking a little bit bullish, and then some of the actual data started coming out and market went on a bit of a whipsaw. So I just wanted to do a quick update to let you guys know my thoughts really quickly as it pertains to Bitcoin, and we might take a look at a couple of the other charts. But I think at this moment in time, it is your priority should be focusing on what Bitcoin does. So let's jump in really quickly. Okay, so yesterday we had that crazy move up that ended up SFPing this level that we've been monitoring for a while, that we had those SFPs a few days ago that led to that sell-off. Well, with today's daily close, I pointed out in the Daily Edge 0xRapture's Thoughts Telegram channel, I said we are monitoring this level for a daily SFP, which we've put in now. All right, as crazy of a sell-off as that candle was, as that move was, we've actually just been trading in this range. And I posted in the channel last night, I said, if you really just want to strip it back and keep it simple, let me just get rid of all this for a second. I said, if you want to keep it really simple, you can see that we're just trading within these three levels here, this range here, right? Your low, mid, and your high. And I pointed out on the 4-hour, well, recently we ran the lows, then in that Trump move we ran the highs, and then we came down close to the lows, and I said, well, I think what we actually want to see tomorrow, or today as it were, since I pointed this out last night, was I said I want to see us take out this low. And it's a range until proven otherwise, right? Like that's the old saying. It's a range until proven otherwise, regardless of the information that sent us there and the sentiment in the market. I mean, cryptos are holding up surprisingly well considering how equities closed today and the carnage that took place there. So we have to sort of ask ourselves, are we delayed in that response, or is there a reason why crypto is holding up? And is the fact that we've held up here a reason to be cautiously bullish? It's a little early to say, but we took out the lows, as I pointed out, and we've made, in the process of that, we put in this daily SFP of this level that's been important for the last several weeks. And we can really see why these three levels are important, right? We had this one here that we failed to close above. We swept a few times, and then we finally closed above that. That's at 84.5K level that we've been monitoring for people that have been following along with the AFM community and in my journal. 84.5K inflection level, right? And we were bullish above, neutral in the middle, bearish below. Well, we've now ran both sides again, right? You can see, ran it. Well, now we're trading in the lower portion of this range that we've been chopping around through for, the better part of almost 3 weeks now even. I'm going to bring up the other diagrams. I'll bring them back. And I posted today, I was like, okay, I think we're going to put in an H4 move up into the supply. And my bias from here is to short, regardless of the slight strength that crypto has shown today. The reality of the matter is we've put in an H4 lower low. All right, like this was our H4. It was in a bullish range. Well, we closed below here, made a lower low, then we closed below again and made a lower low. But we've made that lower low into a higher time frame level of importance, right? This daily swing level that we've now SFP'd again. But I outlined in the Telegram channel, by the way, if you're not a member in the Daily Edge 0xRapture's Thoughts Telegram channel, I highly recommend that you go and join that channel because I drop my thoughts throughout the day and I post in there pretty frequently. I post charts, I post thoughts, post opportunities, things that I find interesting throughout my day-to-day experience in crypto. You can find a link in the description for the YouTube channel, or if you're on X, you can find it if you go over to my account, you can find it linked in my bio. Or if you're following along from Twitch, I think you actually have to go to, I'm not sure if it's linked on Twitch. I need to look into that. If it's not linked on Twitch, there are other links there that you can follow me from and you can get to that Telegram channel. I highly recommend you do that. But I outlined this H4 setup. And I said my bias is looking for shorts up here, but I'm really looking for price to put a move up into here. It's a little bit of a conflicting, tricky area because we did put in this SFP. And every time we've SFP'd, we've ran up, SFP'd, ran down. You know, like a high time frame daily SFP is pretty quality signal. But under the context of what's going on and the fact that we did make an H4 lower low, my bias here is looking for some sort of trigger or a short. And what would sort of negate that for me is if we close above this level on H4 to flip H4 back to bullish, get a higher high, then we can start looking for a trade to go up back to this level. But for now, my bias is to look for a short. In the interim though, in putting in this daily SFP, we've also had, let me get rid of this for now. We've also put in this H1 breaker. And I think what's going to happen, what I believe is going to happen, or what I think probability wise is going to happen, is we're going to get a move into this breaker. And that's another buying opportunity to try and get up into the H4 range high, which is where ultimately we're looking for shorts. So now you don't have to take this trade, right? You could just wait for price to get up here to look for that short. But I do think H1 comes down into here, and it's an area where I'd look for price to make a higher low to go up into this range high. Because ultimately I do want to see us get up into the range high for a proper short. I mean, could this be it here? Yes, because there is, like, this is supply, right? This is H1 supply. It came in there perfectly, but I don't know that this move is over yet, especially given we had that daily SFP and then an H1 breaker flip. So my short-term view is that you're looking for a move into here, and you put a stop down around here for a move up into here. Now, this isn't a huge move. I mean, it might even just make sense to just wait this out and wait for it to get up towards the towards the H4 range highs to look for that short setup. Or alternatively, if price comes and closes above this swing high here, this H4 swing high, then you can look to get long in demand to play it up to the top. This box I can actually get rid of for now because really the supply is up in here. But that's a good inflection area, right? Like the midpoint, like say we get that H1 move off of this breaker and sends price up into here. And then H4 puts in a massive wick through this level and potentially through the mid and closes back within here. Well, then there's your short. Or maybe it just SFP is something here. Maybe you get an H4 SFP in this region and then you're looking for your short, right? Like you're looking for your low time frame triggers to align with your bias. And at the moment, given the state of the broader markets, there is a strong case for this to be an area to short. Just gonna take a look at the chat real quick. JJ, what's good, buddy? GM to you. Good to see you. Not too many people in the chat right now, but I do see that across platforms, we've got over 100 people viewing. I'm not sure how that relates to, well, when I post these on X. I'm not sure if just it being on casually on someone's feed, if it picks it up as a view or what. I also see that Trader Main just went live for a live stream. So I'm going to be competing and will most likely lose out to his stream. But I do see that Trader Main just went live. So there's another stream to catch as well this evening that I will catch up on once we're done here. But I did just want to get this out quickly so you can have get my insights into what's taking place. We can also throw up the Monday range. You can see in this move down this morning, perfectly tagged the Monday low. Monday low held the daily as an SFP. Like there's reasons to be bullish here. The thing that's preventing me from getting overly bullish in this situation after a move like this and with market being what it is, like I'm not trying to have bull goggles on, like H4 lower low. Broader market is absolute ass right now. So these are things you need to weigh. You need to weigh your options about whether looking for a setup to get long here is a compelling enough case versus just waiting for a short trigger up here. And the waiting for the short trigger might be the better move. You know, if we zoom out, here's our bearish daily range. We've traded into the daily supply multiple times, and each time it's traded up into there, sold off, right? Sold off with triggers of SFPs within supply on a daily time frame. Like that's significant. Excuse me. But we are holding this level for now. And I think, as I stated, it's a range until proven otherwise, while we are still continuing to trade this range. So we're going to treat it as such until proven otherwise. But like I said, I am personally looking for shorts up here. Now you could have, as price got up into this area of H1 and H4 supply, like you very well could have just shorted that blind, right? Put your stop above here and shorted that. I like to look for like the low time frame triggers to unfold first to give me that little bit of extra confirmation that the bias is to want to go short here. You know, even something as well, I mean, look at here, right? Like in an area of supply on low time frame, this is M15, right? So like, it's not the highest of quality signal, but we got up into M15. Did that close above? It looks like it, yeah, it just closed slightly above. It's a tough one to go off of, but essentially SFP, SFP, now we're trading down, but we are into this M15 demand. What I, you know, like this is, if you're really into like high frequency or super low time frame scalping, these are the types of things you look for, right? You get those moves like that, you say to yourself, okay, I think this move is going to pull back. Well, then you short that quickly. With a stop up here, you get a really tight invalidation, right? I do prefer trading on H4. I think M15 is a little bit manic and it's a little bit too engaged for me. I don't like jumping in and out of positions that quickly. I don't love holding positions too long. You know, I'm more of an intraday sort of scalper, maybe a few day hold, unless we catch an absolute bottom, an absolute top. Things that I'm working on, right? Like getting back into the perps journey has really only been for the last few months. I started my journey in crypto trading and learning how to actually trade and read charts on perps, but then I moved fully on chain for the last several years. It wasn't really until the last couple months that I moved back into perps and applied all of the battle testing of being in the trenches to how I'm trading perps. But the system that I used and that I learned was learned trading perps. And I'm just that much of a better trader now after doing it for a few years. You can also, so I mentioned last stream. Oh, I see a GM from Hans. I'm not going to try and butcher that because I'm not going to be able to pronounce that, but Hans, GM. I mentioned last stream briefly. You guys know, or people that have been with me for a while know that I'm not, I like just levels and clean charts. I'm not about a bunch of indicators, but on lower time frames, I've been fucking around a little bit with some EMAs just to see if they give, if they can give some clean signals. And I've actually come up with a combination of 3 EMAs or 2 EMAs and a DEMA, which is a double EMA, which is just a faster, it's a faster response. Like EMAs by nature are lagging, and MAs in particular are lagging, right? Like an MA is the slowest, an EMA is faster, and a DEMA is even quicker. It just speeds up the most recent price action. It weighs that heavier against the older price action, right? Like when you put on a 15 and a 38, like that's a look back in time. That's playing against the EMAs. Well, I've sort of come up with this combo. I mean, look at how spot on that is, right? Was riding the downtrend, started flipping it, started chopping the EMAs, closing above, riding the trend of the super fast responding DEMA. It's a DEMA 15 at close, or sorry, at high. Like you can change the settings on these, right? And I went back, I back tested and I forward tested this for a little bit, and I'm fairly confident in the settings that I've come up with for it. And DEMA on a 15 set to high, and then it's a pair of EMAs, a 15 and a 38 close. Now, why 2 15s? Well, because like I said, the DEMA is a faster one, and look how much faster that responds, right? And the regular EMA, this orange one, you can see it lags. I mean, look at how, you know, well this has responded, right? Rides the fast one, tags the middle one, starts to lose the momentum, rolls over, tags the slower one. Those are pretty spot on. I mean, I'm actually quite impressed on low time frames. I don't like them on higher time frames at all, and I don't like them for my primary analysis. Like you can see, I had them set to only show on the 1 hour and the 15. And the only reason why I'm using them, it's not to negate primary analysis. The primary analysis is it, primary analysis. The only purpose for doing that is to try and perfect exits and entries a little bit better on lower time frame, so that you can get a confirmation maybe a little bit earlier than you would waiting for an H4 SFP or waiting for a lower time frame higher high or lower low, depending on if you're trying to long or short. So that's a combination that I've been using, and it's been useful on low time frames. I don't rely on it by any means. Like I'm still, you know, when I'm using them, when I'm charting, when I'm trading, I'm still using my primary analysis, and I know where I'm looking to do business. I know what areas I'm looking to do business. And then when price gets there, I switch down to lower time frame. You know, you switch down to your lower time frames to see if you're getting some sort of trigger, you know, and there up into H1 supply. I still think we're going to go higher into the H4 swing high. But if you're just super quick scalping and you had your entry, right? Like you get your, oh, why is that showing on H4? I wonder if that's useful. I mean, it might be. It's a little bit slow, right? Having the EMA on H4. Why is it on there? And by the way, you can adjust what time frames these things show on, so you're not always constantly having to turn them on and off, right? So I just had them set up to 1 hour. Right there, it's gone. But earlier, you know, this was the entry right here. H4 SFP at the lows. Monitoring something like that, you get that SFP and you're getting this, you know, when EMAs start to chop around like that and compress, there's usually a reversal imminent. Well, then you can, you know, get a little bit more confirmation that your entry was accurate. And then you just sort of try and ride the trend until an area where you would be looking to exit your trade. But like I said, I think there's going to be a tag into this H1 breaker to push us up into here, and then we find out if we're really short or if we want to go higher. That is my view on Bitcoin at the moment. I just want to take a quick look at, let's just see what the SPX ended up closing like. I mean, that's ugly, right? That's fucking ugly. It's funny, I drew these out, these two potential paths weeks ago. Like when this candle first set, I drew this path. I was like, I think we'd come up into this weekly supply, and then kaboom. So our bias of being bearish was, you know, we've been bearish for a while. We've been bearish on crypto from a high time frame. It doesn't mean that we can't trade counter trend, and that's what we've been doing, trying to take these H4 based scalps. But that's an ugly close on SPX. Let's see if futures, I mean, futures aren't doing any better, right? Futures are continuing to nuke. This is not a, now mind you, this is a 15-minute or 10-minute delayed. It's a 10-minute delay. If you want the real-time futures data, you have to pay for a different package on TradingView, and I'm a crypto trader, and so I don't have that package on TradingView. Although trading these macro-based sort of situations might be something that might be useful in moving forward. But I also mentioned yesterday, I said, all this macro shit and news trading and headline trading and all that shit is a fucking pain in the ass. And really the information's there for you in the chart. Even, you know, if you separated out the fact that there's news taking place and you just looked at the chart. Let's take a quick zoom back on Bitcoin on the 4-hour, right? Even before this took place, we were H4 bullish through here, right? Like our previous Monday range, or let's get the Monday range back up here. All right. 2 days ago, I had outlined this H4 breaker, and I said, and there's a post, I said, my bias is long, and I think the entry is the Monday range high. And that's exactly what happened. So the bias is already in the charts. This reaction here, this violent of reaction, you can't predict. But running up to the range high that we've been monitoring is something that you can work off of, right? So like all this information, I know some people will be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like the news was in the charts. Well, I've said this before. The price's willingness to trade in a direction is already there. It's just the news that adds fuel to the direction, right? So people were bullish into the event and the price was already showing that it wanted to trade higher. Well, then it got up here. And then what did we do? Mid Trump's fucking speech, we ran this H4 swing high, SFP'd, and then fucking nuked. Now you had to move really quickly. Like this was not a wait for the move to be like, you know, as soon as it swept that was an instant, like you just got to fucking market slap in. Well, you know, people will say, oh, you know, you talk shit when you see these things in the chart. But it's the willingness for a chart to trade in a certain direction or certain levels that you're expecting price to react a certain way, and it's just fuel that adds to that movement. This is a decent bouncer on this H4. Right? And like it may not even come down into this breaker. It's pretty decent. But ultimately what I'm looking for is some sort of H4 trigger to tell me that we're going short here, or a higher high, and then we look to get long again. We'll run through some of the others really quickly, and then I'm going to wrap it up, because really all I wanted to do was give my thoughts about Bitcoin, right? Like, hopefully everyone's clear on that. H4 is bearish. We have a conflicting signal of this daily SFP, which is why I think from, you know, if you get a tag into this H1 breaker, we're looking for continuation up towards the H4 range high, and then we find out what happens there. If we get up here and put in an SFP, then we're looking to get short. If we get up here and we SFP both of these levels, well then that's really telling us that it's probably going to go quite a bit lower. But our short would be something from, you know, an SFP up here, we're looking to short it back down towards the H4 range low. And you could say, oh, well, the daily SFP isn't that supposed to go up? Well, look at over here. We had 3 days of SFPs before I move up. Up here, we had 5 days before price went down, right? Over here, we had 1, 2, 3 before it kind of went down. It was caught pretty early and then moved up, but like, these are the interactions you're looking for. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to play out. I am liking the way this is looking here, but I don't want to get bull goggles on and delude myself into thinking, oh, we're going to be bullish, right? Like I need a sign from here that this is going to continue with either an H4 flip H4 to bullish, and then we run it up back into the highs, or come down into this breaker again, give constructive PA. Your next long would be with a stop down there to trade up into the H4 swing high. Let's take a look at ETH. Okay, look at that. This is a weekly level, right? Weekly swing low on ETH. 3-day swing low. Just put in a 3-day SFP with the close a couple hours ago. Fairly significant, right? Daily SFP. So what we want to look at now is what is H4? And just like on Bitcoin, I mean, ETH actually did something a little bit different than Bitcoin. This H4 was all SFPs, right? You didn't get, right, like look here, Bitcoin, low, lower low, ETH, low, SFPs. It never made the lower low there. Yes, price traded below, but it did the SFP of that level. But this is a massive fair value gap. Like it's a bearish H4 range. Like there's no way around it. But it put in a daily SFP combined with not printing another H4 lower low there. Like ETH is actually a little bit has had a better reaction, even though it's trading down a bit, and it's down more than Bitcoin at the moment on the day. It didn't actually put in that second lower low on H4. Yes, H4 is bearish, and this area, this fair value gap, it's come in and tagged it. Maybe it's going to come up in there and tag it again and do another SFP, which would be the sign that it wants to trade lower. But you know, this could even trade all the way up into here. Who knows? But this is a good sign here. And putting in that daily SFP of the swing low. Now that's the flip side, right? It's like, I was just saying on H4, ETH looks a little bit better, but on the daily, ETH looks fucking way worse, right? It's come all the way down to its range lows. But we've said this before, right? It's, you want to be looking for reasons to get bullish at the range lows and bearish at the range highs. Well, we don't want to be getting overly bearish when we've come down into a high time frame range low and put in something like an SFP. We even SFP'd this here, right? Like, we've taken out a lot of levels on ETH. That if you get something constructive here for a long, I think it's not a bad idea. Like, we can look on H1 and see, yeah, okay, so there we go. Okay, well, it ran this swing high, just about. It didn't hold that breaker. But I think you're looking here. Hold this to run it back up into this area. You know, maybe it takes out this H4 level. Maybe you get an SFP there, and there's your, you know, if we do want to continue lower, or if you do want to look for a short, it would be there. But I think this is not a bad spot for a long. You know, you put your stop down here. If this holds here, I mean, this whole cluster here of price action, right, is demand, right? Sellers were overrun by buyers. I was talking with some friends earlier, and I was just reminding everyone, like, yes, macro is fucking bearish. Charts don't look great, but we don't want to be making the mistake of getting overly bearish at lows. Just the same as a few days ago, people were getting overly bullish up here. Well, we don't want to be getting overly bearish when we're at a swing low. And that's just normal. That's a normal human response. It's like, price starts dumping, our instinct is to feel shitty about it. But those are the moments where you want to be looking for reasons to get bullish. And this is constructive. Let's take a look at SOL. So SOL took a serious beating, right? It was defending that 124, 122 area for a long time, and it had lost it. And it's been one of the weaker coins. But again, down near the range lows, I would actually like SOL to legitimately come and take out this low. I don't want to see it just front run it like that. I want to see it legitimately take out that level. You could see through that move, put in an H4 lower low, H4 lower low, just like Bitcoin. It's into supply now. I would actually like to see us full on take out that daily level so that we can have a little bit more confidence. If it puts in an SFP here, like if we close below on daily, different situation. But if we SFP this level, we can have confidence that this is a reversal point. Like, this front running by that much is kind of a pain in the ass. It would have been great if it just actually tagged that out. But it is what it is. If it flips H4, then we're feeling more bullish about it. But from here, this sort of situation right here, I don't love. I'm seeing some calls on the timeline some people are talking about, and from some traders that I do respect. I saw someone post earlier today, $45. Man, I mean, it's possible, but I just don't see it right now. But it doesn't look great, right? Like we talked about a few, like on our last stream, we lost the monthly level, a key monthly level on Solana, and look at where it's exactly projected off of that monthly level, right? Does it find a bottom at the bottom of this box? Can it be as simple as just having to take out this level before we can get constructive? I don't know. This is my least Out of the big three, this would be my least preferred at the moment, just because the setup isn't as clear. Now I say that, and Sol might go on to rip the hardest out of all of them, right? So just because Sol moves a little bit higher percentages in both directions. But I would actually like to see it take that out. I think we're going to wrap it up there, because I did really just want to focus on Bitcoin and give thoughts on, you know, where we're at. Let's just see if anything is actually green today that I would be interested in looking at. Not really. I mean, prices are all pretty depressed. I mean, Pepe is up a little bit. What's going on here? Okay. Pepe made a daily lower low. Ran up into supply, made a fresh lower low, right? And that's where it's rejecting off now. Here's our supply on Pepe. That's a big ass zone, I know. But we can drill down into lower time frames to okay, so here's H4, right? Here's your H4 supply. All right. Oops. There's your H4 supply. I mean, look at this PA here, right? Like, this was the Trump situation. H4 SFP, H4 SFP. Boom. Like, it's all on the charts. The news or the event just adds fuel. One price is in a key level. It's just funny how that works out, though, right? Like, how do markets time these things that way, or how do these events time things that way? It's a pretty crazy phenomenon, but we see it time and time again. And if you're armed with that information, you can trade these events. That's why we mark out our high time frame areas of interest, and we wait for those levels. If we're looking to get short, we wait for supply to hit. If we're looking to get long, we wait for demand to hit. We have our thoughts planned out, and we have a few steps of how we'd like it to get there, a few different options for setups, and we wait for that to reach our levels, and then we drill down into lower time frames and look for our setup triggers. Well, Pepe has lost its daily trend. All right, it had been daily bullish. It was making bullish stair stepping, but then it ran up into 3-day supply, and it's made a daily lower low and a daily lower low. You know, my bias on Pepe would be shorting. You know, if you get a move up into this H4 supply and a good setup to use, there's your trigger. I think the overall thing to be aware of right now is, while we want to feel that crypto is showing strength against equities and bullishness, are we just lagging? Are we maybe trying to block out the rest of the market and the rest of the globe? Because quite frankly, this is a global situation that's unfolding, right? And there's going to be headlines and all kinds of shit over the next weeks. Who knows how long this is going to go on for? We do actually have a little bit of a relief for the next few days, because I was reading or saw that Trump is headed off for a 3-day golf retreat. So hopefully headline risk is going to be a little bit lower. Maybe that's going to be enough to allow crypto some room to breathe. Equities close tomorrow. Like, equities are open tomorrow, but then they're closed for the weekend. So maybe tomorrow the blood stops, and that'll give crypto a little bit of room to go up. The flip side of that, though, is if equities just continue to bleed, I don't know how long crypto will be able to decouple the way that we did today. Maybe it's the world looking at Bitcoin and saying, well, everything else is fucked. Currencies are getting fucked, like the US dollar plummeting today. Equities plummeting. Global uncertainty peak. maybe there's a glimmer of that promise of Bitcoin being that hedge against uncertainty. Maybe that is part of it. It's too early to say anything remotely like that. It's too early to put any weight behind that, but it is worth contemplating about. But we don't want to get, again, we don't want to be putting bull goggles on. We do want to be aware that H4 is bearish pretty much across the board, or at least the coins we looked at today, probably 99% of tokens on this list and on your lists are H4 bearish. We did run some daily lows. We have a reason to catch scalp longs, but ultimately my bias is looking for the next short entry, and maybe we're going to be able to ride that much lower. Like maybe Bitcoin comes back down to the daily and 3-day range lows, right? Like we haven't tested this area yet. This is still a bearish daily range. This is still a bearish 3-day range. This is still a bearish weekly range. But hopefully this is giving you a little bit of insights into what things we can look out for and how we can try and navigate, right? Just have a plan, utilize your system, know where you want to do business, and when the time comes, take the trades. You want to be really precise with your stop placement, because all it takes is one headline to blow price against you. And you want to make sure that you're minimizing the least, right? Like nail down your position sizing. Know the amount of risk you want to put on the table. Is it 2%? Is it 1%? Is it 3%? Like know your risk parameters. Adjust that against, like, set your stop first. Understand where you're invalidated. Base your position sizing around that so that you're only risking the amount you're willing to lose per trade. Those typical 2%, 3%, 1%. Or if you're, more open to a larger percentage, you could put 5%, but that gets a little bit risky. Use minimal leverage, or use leverage in a way that portrays the size of your account without having to leave your capital up for risk, right? Like that's the true usage of leverage. It's not just to go 100x long. Like that's the quickest way to blow yourself out, unless you really know what you're doing on low time frame momentum trading. Like I know guys that do that and fucking kill it. They crush it doing that. But if you get a proper entry and you wait for your entries and you wait for your setup and you get proper risk reward and entries as close to your invalidation as possible, you don't need to dial up the leverage like crazy. I think we're going to wrap it up there. So our plan, look for a higher low in this H1 breaker. Maybe we're going to get that. It's looking likely. Give us something in that H1 breaker to go up to the high. If we lose this area, bidding in here, we're still putting our stop below this daily level, right? Because as we've seen, price can wick that daily level multiple times before the trade actually plays out. So you want to be making sure that you're placing your stop accordingly. Short on a reaction here, long from reaction here. That's our plan. Okay, guys. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully I wasn't rambling too much. Hopefully I gave you a little bit of a plan for the days ahead. We are getting into the weekend, like tomorrow, probably going to see some volatility with equities again. But then we're into the weekend, which tends to be a little bit more chill. Saturdays have been kind of ass lately, right? Like compression has been super narrowed. Our volatility has been super narrowed over on Saturdays. Usually Sundays have been like decent activity. Saturdays have kind of been meh. But we do have a plan. And with a plan, we can trade accordingly so that we're not feeling FOMO or fear, depending on where price goes. We have a plan in place. And that's 90% of trading, is planning out where you want to do business and waiting for that shit to hit and getting your setups and entries. I appreciate everyone that has joined. The streaming software is telling me there's about 200 people viewing. I really want to figure out if that's just like people, if it's just showing up on people's feed or if it's actually people viewing. But regardless, streaming to X has been very positive EV. The amount of viewers has gone up. Community is growing. Love to see it. I do want to give a shout out to the sponsors of the show. TheDailyEdge.com, TheDailyEdge.com/subscribe, which is a daily newsletter written by my good friend, Mr. Onchain Wizard, full of actionable intel, insights, and information about the market from the day before, as it pertains mostly to onchain. Although I have noticed that he's been writing more about some macro topics and majors. We go where the market tells us, you know, where the market is paying attention. That's where we follow. So do go and subscribe to that. It's a daily free newsletter. Get all that alpha drip into your inbox. Also want to give a shout out to ChainEDGE, ChainEDGE.io, which is an on-chain analytics platform tracking the top 0.01% of DEX traders by profitability, where you can monitor the real-time flows, holdings, attention, smart follows, as the hot ball of money moves around on-chain across Solana and EVM. And don't forget, you can find links in the About section below or in the description for this video or from my X page. Don't forget to go and follow me. Don't forget to follow or subscribe to wherever you're watching this video. Join the AFM Telegram community. There is links to the AFM Telegram community, 0xRapture's Astrology for Men. As well, don't forget to join my journal, which is at the Daily Edge, 0xRapture's Thoughts, where I write down my thoughts throughout the day. Frequent updates about the market and charts. See, James says, thanks, dude. JJ says, thanks, man. Appreciate everyone that was here. A little bit calmer of an evening, but now we've got our plan. And on that, I am going to sign off and I'll catch you again. Maybe we'll do another stream tomorrow. I'm enjoying doing these more frequent, shorter updates. So, you know, it helps me plan out my trades as well. When I spend the time doing this and speak it out loud, it ingrains it a little bit more so that when the time comes, I know exactly what I'm looking for. And hopefully that helps you guys as well. And on that, I am 0xRapture. This has been Astrology for Men. And I will catch you soon. Have a beautiful, lovely Thursday evening. Ciao.